What's up, everybody? My name is Godzi, and welcome back to some more Umineko When They Cry Questions Arc. Last episode, we continued with Chapter 4, and nobody died because we're not at that point in the chapter yet, but we learned considerably more about Maria and Rosa's past and their relationship with each other, and we also learned... oh, fuck. I still don't really get it, but Maria has this weird outfit now, and Sakutaro is a person now, which, my god, I'm confused about all that, but whatever. We're back in the future, and at least I understand this shit, so I don't know who's talking. Probably Ange? I don't know. She's probably my best bet. Yes, I will never forget that. It happened on April of 1987. I received a certain strange request from a friend. There was a large collection of books, the former possessions of a very rich man, that were being sold at an auction. And it was thought that some of them might have been extremely valuable to the study of archaeology and folklore, as well as in an occult sense. Are these my books? Who are you? My name is Korekyo Shinguji, and I heard you were talking about folklore. Well, do you have an interest in religion? Religion? What are you talking about? Yes, my religion. Seesawism! God damn it, of all things. I hate seesaws. So this friend wanted to witness their worth confidentially. Huh? That was 87, half a year after the crime on Rokkenjima. Oh, it's someone else who's talking. Correct. It was explained that those books had escaped the disaster at Rokkenjima. The owner of the island, Miss Ushiromiyas, had put them up for auction. This was apparently a high-class restaurant. A middle-aged man was sitting across from Ange in a secluded and quiet seat. Is it Tetsuro again? Okanogi? That dude? Amakasa could be seen by the entrance. He was probably keeping a lookout for pursuers from the Sumadera family. If worse comes to worse, he'll probably jump out the window again, so I don't know why I'm doing this. Oh, hi! Ah! Would this work? No, that's... would this work? This is probably fine, yeah. The scholarly man across from Ange spoke politely, but with enthusiasm. He didn't lay a finger on the food in front of him, so you could tell how excited he was as he spoke fervently. He was a professor at a certain college, and particularly well known as an authority on Western folklore. Interesting. What's your name? However, among his life works, that was only a convenient exterior. His true life work was the study of occultism, Western magic, alchemy, and everything else to do with the occult, as well as demonology. In short, he was the person in the best position to understand the details of Kinzo's research. I heard a ding. Professor Ootsuki. Okay, he's all the way down here and has no relevance, I guess. Professor Ootsuki. A professor at a certain college, as well as an authority on the subject of Western folklore. He's also famous for his hobby, researching the Rokkenjima witch legend as one of the witch hunters. The primary focus of the witch hunt is the pasting together of occult stories to try and make them match with the Rokkenjima incident, making it much more of a mental game for dilettantes and enthusiasts of the mystical than a scientific investigation into the truth of the crime. Okay, so... okay, so he's like, oh, it was magic. Okay. First, what I learned by appraising those books was that Miss Ushiromiyas had absolutely no education in the study of folklore. And that the original owner of the books, Ushiromiya Kinzo, was certainly one of the top 5 authorities on demonology in Japan. April 1987. A major city antique shop obtained a large quantity of ancient documents that were thought to have a high historical value. They were entrusted with them by Ushiromiyas, who wanted them to be sold at auction. Hello, I'm dead, but not really. At the time, it was thought that Eva would succeed the Ushiromiyas family and have all the wealth to herself, as the only survivor. However, at that point, not even half a year had passed since the accident, and the others had not been missing long enough to be presumed dead, even under extraordinary circumstances. Because of that, Eva had supposedly been in a very tight spot financially, unable even to collect on her family's life insurance. It seems she tried to sell everything of value, and even the books kept in the place where she'd escaped Harmon, Kuadorian, were used for this purpose. So she did escape to Kuadorian to go away from the bomb, but if she set the bomb, then she would know to go there, I guess? These old books, which would eventually be called the Ushiromiyas Library, were later gathered from antique shops by authorities in the field so that they could be appraised, and those authorities were astounded. At least speaking from the perspective of occultism, the impact of that discovery on the world was comparable to the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is because contained within the Ushiromiyas Library were many extremely vital documents that had never been found, though their existence had been known of for more than a millennium. The many dreams of the occult, such as those represented by alchemy, always stirred an intense fascination in dilettantes. It is whispered that many magic books of great historical value, currently unknown to the public, might be in the secret possession of extremely wealthy lovers of the occult. So Kinzo would apply there. Items such as Leonardo da Vinci's notebooks, which are particularly popular among dilettantes, are said to be prime examples of this. It is said that approximately 5,000 pages of these notebooks currently exist, and that over 10,000 have been lost. Wow. But some researchers believe that a large part of this lost portion may be monopolized by certain enthusiasts and members of the extremely rich. It is said that because of this, even now, dilettantes who can't help but seek these spare no expense to search around for quietly hoarded away and unannounced notebooks. There's probably no doubting that Ushiromiya Kinzo was himself one of those dilettantes. No one knows what Kinzo went through to obtain those. Oh yeah, by the way guys, happy Smash Ultimate Day! But there can be no mistake that he used his vast wealth freely, buying them off of other rich people with the same hobby as him. Those books, which were so valuable that enthusiasts could never satisfy their desire to hoard them away, were discovered in large numbers at the end of the 20th century, and their release to the public had given the entire world a massive shock. Because of this case, the name Rokkenjima became known across the world. The world was also shocked to learn that, in all likelihood, a large number of even more valuable undiscovered books were lost during the accidental Rokkenjima. Because of this, the names of Rokkenjima and the Ushiromiyas Library will remain in our memories for all time. Our memories. That "our" probably meant the occult neck of the woods with the same hobby as Kinzo. Because of that incident, the name of Rokkenjima had taken on a vital meaning in the world of the occult. It's interesting. There certainly had been a lot of reporting about the accident on Rokkenjima itself, but not on an international level. However, this one part has spread across the world, taking the image of Rokkenjima as a small island in the Izu archipelago, and painting it over as a demonic island where riddles, suspicion, mystery, and the occult met. So it's like a Bermuda Triangle type thing. In other words, until Kinzo's library was leaked to the public by Eva, Rokkenjima had been merely a nameless island that no one could remember, and certainly not the island of a witch. However, when knowledge of the Ushiromiyas Library spread all over the planet, Rokkenjima's image immediately took on an occult twist. What happened next was the discovery of that message bottle. That's what turned that island into a witch's island. A nameless island in the Izu archipelago began to transition into an island of the occult, the island of the mysterious witch Beatrice. You might say that, lacking either the Ushiromiyas Library or the message bottle, the Rokkenjima witch legend would never have been established. The message bottle. Yes, a form of communication to an unspecified target by throwing an empty bottle with a letter sealed inside it into the sea. It was once famous as a way of sending an SOS from a deserted island, but because of the influence of a certain prominent foreign detective novel, it has also become known as a method of confessing the truth after one's own death, like a time-delayed will. The case of the Rokkenjima message bottle was certainly one of the latter. What? This is a thing everyone says a fisherman on a nearby island picked up. Wait, oh, that's Ange. This is the thing everyone says a fisherman on a nearby island picked up? Correct. We learned that a young fisherman on Shiki Najima picked up a wine bottle with a letter in it. This young fisherman kept it, just out of curiosity. Then, because Rokkenjima had fallen under the world's attention due to the Ushiromiyas Library, he announced his discovery. Is there any chance that it was a fabrication made by the fisherman? Of course, we weren't able to deny that possibility. The scraps of paper and the wine bottle were signed by a certain member of the Ushiromiyas family. A girl named Ushiromiya Maria. Right, she did write a letter at the end of the first game, so I guess that was in all games? However, after looking at the writing left on her former belongings, It was confirmed that this message was written in a different person's handwriting. Oh. A different person's handwriting? Correct. At the very least, I believe there can be no doubt that it was written by a person more skilled at writing and of a greater age than her. Wow, that is everyone. There's a very high likelihood that someone faked her name when they wrote it. Therefore, at that point in time, the contents of those scraps of paper were thought to have a very low credibility. Was it Rosa? Eva? Jessica? I don't know. George? Hideyoshi? Someone. However, later on it was confirmed that a similar message bottle had been recovered from the nearby ocean on the day of the accident by the police in their search for lost articles. And this caused a sensation. It seems that, due to evidence from the surrounding area and the fact that the bottle had been sealed, the police had decided that its likelihood of being a fabrication was low, and it had been abandoned no earlier than a few days before the accident, and the handwriting for both matched. This caused the credibility of the scraps of paper discovered by the fisherman to rise. It seems magazines and the like have reported on the contents of that message bottle repeatedly, but would you like an explanation? No. Oh. I know about it, more or less, but do we? Many scraps of paper had been stuffed into both of the wine bottles. It was an extensive notebook written by someone calling themselves Ushiromiya Maria, but who wasn't Maria, and which told of the events starting the day before the accident and up until the day of the accident in a diary-like way. And its contents had been the beginning of the Witch's Legend serial murder incident, as well as the Golden Witch Beatrice's puzzle. This bizarre diary-style notebook is described how the Ushiromiya family members nailed down on the island by the typhoon were caught up in a ceremony for the resurrection of a witch, and killed one by one in inexplicable ways. But this is after the third game, it's not as inexplicable this time. And in the end, the Golden Witch Beatrice survived and everything was flung into the Golden Land. It was written almost as though it was a complete account of the events on those days. Also, it depicted the current situation on the island at the time in great detail. And the former servants who used to work for the Ushiromiya family gave testimony that it had definitely been written by a human who knew the inside details of the island. So because of a combination of the occult boom from that strange fantasy novel in the Ushiromiya library, as well as the fact that the truth remained shrouded in darkness, the legend of the Rokkenjima witch was born? Correct. More than 10 years have already passed since that case, and it is still the focus of interest for occult enthusiasts across the world. No, to the contrary, you could say it has become increasingly deified as time passes. There are still many enthusiasts who try to secretly land on Rokkenjima even though it's prohibited. Could there be another message bottle that has still not been discovered? And on that day, what really happened on that island? There's still much to be discussed. As though he had finally remembered what he'd been going on and on... Wait. As though he had finally remembered that he'd been going on and on for some time, the man took a gulp of water. His potage was getting cold, but it seemed that the man's hunger had already been blown away. I'm pretty sure I heard that the fisherman's scraps of paper and the police's scraps of paper had completely different contents. Correct. Due to that, interest in the Rokkenjima mystery increased even further. Inside both bottles were diary-style notebooks on which was written an account from the day before the accident until the day of the accident. However, while both of their contents described the same 2-day period, they were completely different. It was as though one was the truth and one was a lie, or perhaps both were lies. In any event, the beginnings and endings alone matched with each other. In the beginning, the 18 people, including the relatives, are sealed up on the island by the typhoon. And in the ending, everyone dies, the Golden Witch is revived, and everything is flung into the Golden Land. The contents of both message bottles wrote about the events of the day before the accident and the day of the accident, but the details were completely different. Both diaries outline a serial murder, following the epitaph of the witch, but the order of the sacrifices, the ways they died, and even the tale of the 2 days were different. Oh. So did it describe, like, the first and second games? Why would that be? That's a different timeline, unless they were written by Battler? However, in both, everyone died in the end and the witch revived, making for the same general plot. Because the only survivor, Miss Ushiromiya Eva, has remained silent about what actually happened on that island. The events of that entire 2-day period are shrouded in darkness. These 2 diaries presented a full 2 theories to wipe away that darkness. Those 2 days could be explained with either of those 2 diaries. However, we don't know which is correct, or even if there's anything correct contained within them. Schrodinger's cat box, again. If it isn't denied, even a mixture of truth and fiction can be the truth. Through the media, these scraps of paper had of course been shown to Eva as well, but in the end, she never broke her silence. Who sent the message bottles, and why? Earlier, in their special issue for the crime's 10th anniversary, a certain magazine took that topic up for discussion in a grand manner, didn't they? That theory seems to be the one garnering the most support lately. But it is rather dull. What happened on that island on that day? Considering this question is the true charm of the witch hunt. The witch hunt? Yes, the Rokkenjima witch hunt is the name of a group of enthusiasts who try to explain the truth of that crime from an occult perspective. Discussion of the mysteries that surround Rokkenjima, from the Ushiromiyas library to the mysterious 2-day period to the legend of the Golden Witch, is flourishing even today among enthusiasts. For the 10-year anniversary, an international convention was held in New York. Really? I also participated as a representative of Japan. I was able to intermingle with zealous overseas witch hunters in many ways. Are you fucking kidding me? This became such a big thing that they had an international convention for a fucking serial murder? Witches are a very popular category overseas. The age span of the participants stretched from elementary schoolers at the bottom all the way to famous cultural figures at the top. Even in Japan in recent years, there was finally... You probably don't need any more explanation, but he's one of the most famous Rokkenjima witch hunters in Japan. Even though I didn't ask anything more, he kept continuing on, excitedly all by himself. As I swirled the thin film on my potage with my spoon, I shrugged my shoulders and sighed. Looks like researching about the message bottle really was a waste of time. Hi, Maria. No, if there's one thing I found, it's that the notebook supposedly written by Maria was actually written by a different person faking her name. And that person wrote up an occult legend on their own, put it into the bottle as though it was the truth, and threw it into the sea. I have a question. Why would it go to all the trouble of writing so much in order to prepare a suspicious letter like that? With a message bottle, there would be no guarantee that it would ever pass into anyone's hands. If their luck had been bad, it could have sunk in the ocean, never to be seen by anyone. And even if someone had picked it up, they might have not cared about it and thrown it away. Why would they entrust their confession of the truth to the sea with such an uncertain method? And why would they write up multiple, differing tales? If there'd been one message bottle claiming that its story was the truth, might be reckless, but not impossible. However, because there were two, that made both of them doubtful. If someone was plotting to make out those 2 days to be the work of a witch, then they really did go one step too far. And because there were two, it suggests that an undiscovered third one, or possibly even more, might exist. In other words, the two differing contents makes both of them harder and harder to swallow. But despite that, the contents of both matched in that they told of a witch in a tale. Oh boy, I can't read today. So, is that the main point the writer wanted to get across to us? It seems to me that all you see is violence in movies and sex on TV. It seems to me that the only possible explanation is that someone who wanted to give rise to an illusion of a witch carried out this crime for their own enjoyment. However, the 17 people other than Aunt Eva lost their lives, and a vast wealth, or maybe even 10 tons of gold, had moved around secretly in the darkness. It doesn't feel right for a confession occurring after all that to bring up this illusion of the witch. Even if we ignore the magazine's theories, it's very doubtful that the message bottle really was a diary. After all, the amount of writing was massive. It's hard to imagine that someone actually caught up in the middle of a serial murder like that would be able to calmly write it down. In that case, it's probably more realistic that this diary was written slowly over a long period of time up until the day prior to the accident. In that case, would it mean that everything on Rokkenjima was a planned crime with everything prepared for over a long stretch of time? The fact that Aunt Eva left this world without saying anything is infuriating. She definitely said it on her deathbed. She definitely said that her reason for not telling me the truth was because it was her best way of harassing me. Yeah, by now it's painfully obvious. Of all the things Aunt Eva did to harass me, this was probably the last and the greatest. But thinking of it this way, it's pretty doubtful that Aunt Eva is the true culprit. Of course, it's not because the handwriting on the message bottle was different from Aunt Eva's or anything like that. It's because in both tales that were discovered, Aunt Eva was included among the victims. Oh! So yeah, that's the first and second game, isn't it? If the writer of that diary was the culprit, maybe Aunt Eva was also one of the targets to be killed. Maybe Aunt Eva survived because something went wrong. Huh. Because I hated Aunt Eva, I came to believe that she had to be the culprit. But the existence of the message bottle, makes me suspect that the mastermind is a far more profound and unknown person than her. Really? But that's just referring to the first 2 games, is it? Like, I'd have to actually see those messages. Whatever. I looked at the clock. I've heard more than enough. It's time. As he continued to speak fervently, I suggested that I wanted to bring this discussion to a close. He seemed to be aware that he'd gotten excited and talked too much, so he quickly accepted this. Thank you very much for today. I believe I've heard something very, truly valuable. No. It was truly fun to be able to welcome a young lady as a new friend of the witch hunt. I have many precious materials that I couldn't show you because it has changed to a different venue from the usual. I'd be glad to show you them at the next chance we get. Thank you, Professor. Could I ask one more thing? Yes, what is it? Professor, why are you interested in witches? No, in occultism and demonology. Well, that is somewhat embarrassing. A daydream I had in my childhood, that if I could use a mysterious power, I could take on even the biggest of bullies, went on to become my life's work. After all, the primitive desire of admiring unknown powers is as universal today as it ever was in the past. Professor, if you could do it, would you want to become a witch? Do you still dream of being able to use magic at will? But of course. Even though at this age I understand logically that such a thing couldn't exist, I cannot forget my childlike dreams, such as flying in the sky and turning scrap iron into gold. If you would, please keep this a secret from my students. If I told you that I was a real witch, would you believe it? My pet theory from my few experiences with women is that they are all witches. Ange snorted at the old professor, who must have been an earnest scholar with barely any experience with women. Yeah. And one final question. Professor, have you seen the original message bottle itself? I have indeed. In that case, do you know that handwriting well? Of course. I'm not a specialist in that area, but at least when it comes to the handwriting of the message bottle, I am proud to be the most knowledgeable in Japan. At that point, Ange set a book on the desk with a thud. And this is? I've never seen it before. He prided himself on his thorough knowledge of all literature related to Rokkenjima, and he looked bewildered at this binding that he hadn't seen before. Ignoring him, Ange silently flipped through the pages, opened to one of them, and showed him. On that page was a handwritten paragraph beginning with, "To my beloved witch apprentice," and at the end there was a signature in katakana that said, "Beatrice." This is... The instant he glanced at it, his face went pale. She knew the answer before asking, but Ange asked it aloud anyway. Does the handwriting in the paragraph on this page match the handwriting in the message bottle? Oh god. Well, I must take this home and investigate more. Pardon me for asking, but what in the world is this book? Where'd you get it? The man stretched out his hand, but Ange pulled it back, as though telling him not to touch it with his filthy hands. Thank you. Just that reaction is all I need. Thank you very much for today. Here's the reward I promised. As she stood up, clutching Maria's diary, Ange carelessly tossed a wad of 10,000 yen notes, wrapped with a strip of paper, onto the table. Damn. As Ange turned her back to him and made to leave, the man raised his voice as though clinging to her. But Ange didn't stop walking. I beg you! What in the world is that book? I don't need a reward. Show me that book! Both you and I are in the witch hunt, but it looks like we aren't pursuing it at the same level. You're entertaining yourself with the outside of the cat box. And what I want to know about is the inside of the cat box. And this book is the key to opening it. It's too good for you. Well then, goodbye, gentlemen. Have a nice day. But please wait! Sumadera! But her name's Ushiromiyas? His voice didn't reach her. She had already joined up with Amakusa and gone into the car. Why Sumadera? Did she pretend to be a Sumadera? Did you find anything? Only at the very end. I was right. The one who wrote the message bottles was Beatrice herself. Cool. So you've concluded that the witch actually exists? Who knows? Mind if I sleep? I'll bet that talkative professor gets lost in his own little world in lectures and makes a lot of kids fall asleep. Please go ahead, take a rest. Still, that went really well. That guy believed I was a Sumadera until the very end. Oh, really? The Sumadera family had set up a web beforehand around any people Ange might try to contact. They had offered a reward to anyone who could take Ushiromiya Ange into custody if she appeared. Ange had foreseen that and had snatched it away. She had called herself Sumadera, and after cleverly tricking the man by saying her own subordinates would set up an ambush... Wait. And after cleverly tricking the man by saying her own subordinates would set up an ambush so he didn't need to worry about it, she had taken him outside. So when the Sumidera family pursuers reached the professor's house, there was no longer anyone there. According to the family, Wait, what? According to the family, a young man and woman, calling themselves Sumidera, visited this morning. Took the professor out with them and still have not returned. There's a chance we were outmaneuvered. I figured, yep. What a bad child, Ange. I wonder if that craftiness is from sister's blood. To think she'd casually take on the name Sumidera after saying she'd hate to go by it so often. The professor should be returning soon. When he does, we must serve him some tea. Yes, understood. I wonder if she thinks she's leading me around by the nose. What a naughty child. Also, something I just forgot. Hey, what do you look like? That's good. I feel like, whoever drew these, I don't remember their name. They got better with some of the later characters. Because these are pretty decent. But then, like... these two... Well, come to think of it, Kumasawa's is okay. It's just Yoda, really. Kind of looks derpy. Again, I don't think these are bad. They just look different, you know? Not to mention, Kyrie's legs have bothered me. I don't know why. Whatever, they're still okay. It's just... That's just me. With a demonic look on her face, Kasumi violently stamped her heel. Uh-oh. She's pissed. Is she like Virgilia too? Is she gonna open her eyes and look crazy? I'll teach you about my magic of origins. Oh. No, I taught you before, right? And you used it before. Did you forget? You were also a witch apprentice, Ange, with your name entered into Mariade's Sorcière, weren't you? I was also included among the witches, wasn't I? I closed Maria's diary and flopped down on a very high-class looking bed. I'd slept deeply for a long time in the car, so it took longer than usual for drowsiness to set in, and I read the diary as I waited. This was a super expensive hotel in the city. Since it was often used by the rich and the famous, they were very big on confidentiality. That made it very convenient for Ange to escape her pursuers. The idea that renegades should spend their nights hiding in cheap hotels is a commoner's way of thinking. To Ange, who possessed all the wealth of the Ushiromiyas family, renegade life was comfortable indeed. Of course, even though he was a guard, Amakasa was a man and therefore in a separate room. Ange used the bedroom of the suite, and Amakasa lay on the sofa in the living room. According to Amakasa, the sofas here were more pleasant than his own beds had been recently. Poor guy. I mean, sofas are comfortable. When I looked at the clock, I saw that it was almost 2 in the middle of the night. I'm still not getting sleepy. I sighed deeply. At that time, even though there was no wind, I had the feeling that Maria's diary fluttered. Hi, what do you want? Did she just ding into existence here? Motherfucker! God damn it, she just... Oh yeah, what does she look like in that outfit? About the exact same as I expected her to. Whatever. The Witch of Origins who will live for one... That's the exact same thing I read, okay. Then, Maria appeared. Her form was no longer the normal one I'd known. She was wearing the dress that Beatrice had given her after acknowledging her as a witch. If you don't get some sleep, it'll be tough tomorrow, right? If I were a witch too, I'd be able to use magic, wouldn't I? Yeah, you can use it. I taught you, didn't I? Taught you how to use it. And you were able to use it in the past, weren't you? I remember. I started wanting to use it. Are you starting to feel lonely? She really likes raising her... That's the exact same staff that Eva Beatrice had, isn't it? Huh. Not really. It's not like having a different pillow every night is that tough. I want to check and see if that is the exact same staff. She's fucking not even on here. That's right. Because she died. Not really. It's not like having a different pillow every night is that tough. The first step to magic can be loneliness or boredom. Even small reasons like that. Even if it's just trying to kill time until you can fall asleep? Yeah! I'm glad you remembered about magic one more time. That was a short scene. It's been quite a long time since I last used magic. At one point, with Maria's introduction, I touched the corner of it and opened the door a tiny bit. So, I should still remember that sensation.
Right now, your magical power has declined significantly, Ange. If you don't devote yourself to the basics, it'll be hard, okay?
Maria's gone through a lot of development in this game, come to think of it. Because at the beginning, she was like this creepy little shit, and now she's like some fucking witch. So, somehow less creepy as a witch. Sure. Checking all directions. Securing a quiet space.
Well, Makasa.
He's sleeping. After opening the door to the living room a crack, I could see the blanket caterpillar on the sofa roll over in its sleep.
With your magical strength as weak as it is now, the anti-magic power is affecting you too much. Not just the sight of people, but voices, sounds, and even the presence of people will get in the way of your magic. Sever those completely, like how ancient magicians shut themselves up in ateliers to preserve their isolation.
Literally, this game uses so many words that I've never heard of before.
I remember. The very existence of humans blocks magic. Therefore, the very act of showing magic to people is a sign of a high-level witch.
Obtain a quiet space for yourself alone. That should be enough to prepare a space to use magic.
Next is a vessel. Right now, it's important for your bike to at least have training wheels. No, a chain.
This is, of course, impossible. Ange rubbed her own head. She wore hair accessories there, with pink gems attached. Yeah, we noticed. They felt a little childish for Ange, but she never took them off, not even for a single day.
Yeah, it really will be impossible for you now, Ange. If you'd practiced every single day since then, you might have gained the ability to summon with that by now.
With her hair accessories? Really? Is that what they're talking about? Why else would they mention them? Just because she rubbed her head?
If I were to start training now, how long would it take? It said that a year of magical training for a child is worth 10 years for an old person. You need a lot of determination.
Coming in.
Get out. You mean like Ushiromiyas Kenzo? So just like the piano and the violin, getting a special education from a young age is huge when it comes to magic. As you are now, your power is weakened since the time you were first able to use magic, Ange. Don't overdo it, and devote yourself to the basics.
After stubbornly rubbing those things on my head one more time, I gave up. Then I started fishing through the knapsack, looking for anything that might make a good vessel.
Shouldn't this be a perfect vessel? It's been a long time, yes! With this, I think even you should be able to perform a summons as you are now. And they have no master now. It should be possible for you to become their new master, Ange.
Among the things that looked like good vessels, I took the one I thought might possess the strongest magical power, and set it on the side table near the bed with a clatter. It was a shady-looking, stake-shaped weapon with an occult design inscribed on it. Ah, one of the stakes, of course. It was one of the 7 stakes of purgatory, which the witch used to offer sacrifices. When the police had been searching the family's possessions, they had collected a large amount of junk. After the investigation had finished, these had been politely returned to the Ushiromiyas family. Finding something that I'd seen in the pictures of Maria's diary, I took it home with me. Which one is it?
Originally, there were 7 stakes of purgatory. How pitiful. Now she's the only one left.
Not sister. Maria smiled, looking lonely. I pulled another book out of the knapsack. This was also old-fashioned, and you could tell that it was an occult book just by looking. But its contents were plain. It was one of Maria's elaborate notebooks. This wasn't a diary. This was a grimoire, which she had written as a witch. The 7 stakes of purgatory are Beatrice's furniture, created by her and employed only for her sake. But since Beatrice is also a witch of Mariage Sorcière, they could be employed by Maria, a witch of the same alliance. For that reason, the method of summoning the 7 stakes of purgatory and how to handle them was written about in great detail in Maria's grimoire. And, as another person with their name registered in that alliance, I was also permitted to employ them. Oh, really? Which one of the 7 sisters is this stake?
Their characteristics are written about well in my grimoire. The sisters of the 7 stakes really hate it when you get their names wrong. Remember their names well before summoning them.
Probably Lucifer, if any. A packed page told of the 7 stakes of purgatory. It described the 7 sisters in great detail. Yes, I think I memorized almost this entire page once in the past. The more I read it, the more I start to remember. By the pictures and characteristics written on the grimoire, I could tell that the stake in my hand was Mammon's stake. Mammon? Of all of them? Her? The really bitchy one? In the past, I hadn't had any stakes, so I summoned them without any vessel. So this was the first time I'd clearly seen any of the 7 stakes, let alone Mammon. Mammon, the 5th sister, controls the deadly sin of greed. An incredible kid. What? Greed also controls aspirations, the desire to improve oneself, and the strength to live. It definitely doesn't mean only bad things. She's rude, but she's a girl who tries really hard. I see. You could say that without desire, there's no reason to live. For a while, I heightened my concentration and digested the information that was written about Mammon. The more the summoner knows about the target that's being summoned, the better. Knowledge is connected to magical power. I began to fill my head with knowledge about Mammon, raising an unnecessary amount of magical power for a summoning. Grimoires can be a bit interesting. This might be a much better read than some lame novel. Really takes me back. For a grimoire, it's demanded not only that you understand the letters, but that you fill up the world of the space between the lines, giving birth to a world from the pictures and creating things in various ways. The power to give birth to something. For someone who has that, such as you, a grimoire should be more interesting than any book. I've always known that you'd be able to understand that. That should be enough knowledge of Mammon for now. Yes, I've remembered it, more or less. I'll give it a try. Take care. In case the worst happens, here's my talisman. The Treaty of the Alliance won't protect you right now. That Mammon is a bit of a quick trigger. Yeah. And she may still bear a grudge. Be careful. Yes, I'll wear it. The 7 stakes of purgatory, as furniture used to make sacrifices for a ceremony, were treated as beings inferior even to weapons. But that was only when compared to other demons. To humans, furniture is something to be feared. I fished through the knapsack again, took out a bracelet charm with the scorpion metal that I had gotten from Maria long ago and put it on my arm. In the past, I hadn't needed something like this, but I need insurance. It's okay. That has already been fitted with the required amount of magical defense. As long as you wear that, you'll definitely be fine. Maria's magic power, which had been specially put into this charm, had been enough to earn even Beatrice's admiration. While it may have looked like something cheap to a human who couldn't understand magic, its magical worth was incalculable. Come, arise. Forgive the sin. One of the 7 stakes of purgatory. Mammon of greed. I focused my mind. I made the magic-repelling toxin that filled my body 0. Imagine an untainted, vast space. Doubts and common sense all resist magic. Make the resistance 0 and erase the burden on the magical power. Inside my head was the image of a vast space. It was a nighttime world where I floated in the air and the neon stars over the ground sparkled. A world where the stars that should have covered the sky were wiped away by the light from below that covered the ground. In the world of a vast night sky with no obstructions, I imagined the wind blowing through at will. Oh, that's the Womp. At that time, in a room where there shouldn't have been any wind, the free nighttime wind kicked up a cyclone. The long-forgotten sensation raced through my entire body. It was the unique feeling of exultation that comes from using magic. Mammon's stake, which I held out in my hand, gradually began to make me feel a pale light. A twisting cyclone with the stake at the center. The hefty stake floated a bit into the air. Wonderful! Looks like the gap in your training hasn't stolen your talent. Come, arise. Forgive the sin. One of the 7 stakes of purgatory. Mammon of greed. Show yourself to me. As I raised my hands bit by bit, lifting them higher than my head. As though it was being attracted upwards, Mammon's stake once again floated up high into the air, and gradually began to shake. That shaking began to grow faster, and it burst. Oh god. And then it went out and killed a Makusa. Ow, my chest! With a speed faster than the eye could follow, it flew around, violently rebounding off the walls of the room. The terrible sound of it dancing around threatened to make me flinch. However, I must not lose my mental concentration. Okay. Then the stake, which had been flying around at an incredible speed, finally stopped and faced me. It was in the air, just a few centimeters away from my forehead, and held back by the defensive barrier created by the scorpion charm. It had tried to break the defensive barrier, eating into it with an incredible power, but Maria's barrier wouldn't be broken so easily. Yeah, of all of them, Mammon's probably the last one you'd want on your side. Is she talking now? It's no use. I can't break it. The stake muttered hatefully. It was probably safe to say that the scorpion charm saved me. Without that, my attempt at killing time until I got sleepy would have killed my time for all eternity. Yeah. Hi, Mammon. Ding? Really? Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, so this one... Are they all fucking hers now? Mammon. Mammon is the first furniture to become Ange's friend. She stayed by Ange's side throughout her training period, greedily encouraging her master to become a full true witch. A very special person, even among the 7 sisters. So is she, like, the unlikely most important? When Mammon's stake realized that it was unable to gouge me, it gave up and grew docile, changing its form to that of a stake into a human. In that same old outfit that I'd never be able to walk around outside in. Although you could say it suited her in a demonic sort of way. Is that Ange? But that magical power is pretty shabby. Are you really Ange? It's been a long time, Mammon. Have you been well? And here I was convinced that furniture that's already fulfilled its function just gets left to rust away in a closet. So what kind of sideshow is this? You aren't gonna say that you're my owner, are you? Yes, Ange is your master. Lady Maria, how unsightly of me. Was that barrier just now yours? Yes. I thought that as she is now, Ange might just have gotten finished off by you. I lent her a talisman. If Lady Maria says Ange is my master, I cannot refuse. Ange, please, your orders. If it's me you need, are you going to perform a new ceremony? With new sacrifices? Of course, that's only if you're willing to handle me yourself and get your own hands dirty. That role isn't something I'm asking for anymore. All you have to do is talk with me like you used to. Yes, if that is what you desire. Furniture is furniture because it is used. It is an honor just to be summoned, Ange. Mammon had a slightly complicated smile on her face. She just wants to kill someone, doesn't she? She accepted her new master because Maria had told her to, but it looked like she hadn't gotten over her discontent at working for Ange with her frail magical power. Perhaps she had some other reason for hating Ange, but for now it seemed that she couldn't disobey, even if she wasn't happy about it. So, what should I do? I don't know. Just do something lively, like old times. Well now, this liveliness you're talking about is probably from when we sisters were all together. Maybe difficult by myself. Did you forget? That's right, the 7 sisters were really lively when they got together. No kidding. But with Ange's magical power now, I think summoning just Mammon is the best we can hope for. The stakes for the other 6 have been lost. My apologies, Lady Maria, but maybe it would be possible to summon the 7 sisters via my own stake. If I am to be used, I'd hope Ange has at least that much power, right? Mammon grinned. Apparently she wanted me to summon the other sisters without a vessel. I see. Since she's unable to satisfy herself with being summoned alone, she's asking for the other sisters to be summoned as well. I get it. Greed. Yes, she was like this back then, wasn't she? To furniture, the times during which they are used are bliss. No matter how badly they are exploited, being used is furniture's joy. On the contrary, regardless of how nice you are to them, not being given a job is more painful than anything in their eyes. Mammon spoke in a challenging way, but she wanted me to summon the other sisters somehow and rescue them from the world of nothingness. The world of nothingness, really? Am I somehow part of this game now? We shall go together. My stakes of purgatory. Fucking... I haven't even gotten to that part in Kingdom Hearts. I just wanted to make that joke, Jesus. If that's the case, all she's got to do is say so. These demon people can never just say what they mean.
Ange, don't overdo it. You'll need plenty of rehabilitation just from summoning Mammon. Oh, I'll need to rehabilitate after just one? Well, I'm just killing time anyway. Okay, Mammon, I've gone this far. I'll call as many as I can.
Oh shit.
Really? Not bad, Ange. Okay, quickly!
Apparently, even though she asked, Mammon hadn't really expected Ange to do this. She hopped around, badgering Ange to summon the other sisters. Summoning Mammon alone consumed a considerable amount of physical and magical power. It'd probably be really tough to do 6 more. I'm awed by the magical power of those who can summon sisters like this at will with just a snap of their fingers, and who therefore reach the level where they can be called witches.
Mammon, don't make Ange overdo it. She still isn't at her best. What?
Ange said she'd summon everyone. Actually, I only said I'd call as many as I could. I guess that's greed for you.
Don't overdo it, Ange. You should rest for today. You're tired enough. It's okay. I'm just killing time anyway. When we get tired enough that I can just fall over asleep.
This time, there's no vessel. I'll have to strengthen the image from my knowledge of the grimoire and materialize them with just that. I held my hands out into the air, replaying in my head the sensation from when I summoned Mammon. I'm acquainted with all of the 7 sisters, right? Gotta remember that time, long ago, when I talked with them. Once again, the power of magic began to fill me up. It let off a faint and yet distinct pale light from both of my hands. Okay.
Ange! Hold on, good luck! Hey, Lady Maria, Ange's definitely gonna summon everyone, right? The 7 sisters will get to be reunited again, right? Right? Yeah, definitely! But there's no guarantee that'll happen tonight. Ange can do it. Please, Ange. Start with the youngest sister,
Asmodeus, the 7th sister. Got it. I'll call them in order, starting from the youngest. Even though Mammon's the 3rd youngest, so he already went out of order. A strand of hot sweat dripped down from my forehead. This really is going to be one hell of a burden to carry. She probably won't be able to summon even her, is she? Oh, never mind. The pale light in the space began to slowly form into the outline of a girl.
Come, arise. One of the 7 stakes of purgatory, Asmodeus of Lust.
There was no vessel. However, as I held a strong conviction that she definitely did exist there as a core, her form began to crystallize. Her outline became distinct, and the form of the youngest of the 7 sisters, Asmodeus, was finally created. Hi.
Asmodeus of Lust, right here. Where is this? Am I alive? Osmo! I'm so glad! Mammon, where in the world is this? Who summoned me? Ange did. Ange said she'd revive all of us.
No, I didn't.
Ange, thank you. Do Belle's next, please.
Oh, her. She's awful.
Beelzebub, the 6th sister. Beelzebub of Gluttony, come, arise.
At this rate, I wonder how many I'll be able to summon. If I can't focus, this is probably it. Ah, God, hi. The pale light made an outline and formed into Beelzebub.
Beelzebub of Gluttony right here. Bells! Ange, you're amazing, incredible!
Mammon and Asmodeus jumped onto Beelzebub, celebrating their reunion. I'd summoned 3 people at once. My head was throbbing. Gotta summon the next one without stopping for a break.
Come, arise. One of the 7 stakes, Belphegor of Sloth.
Is she actually summoning all of them?
Belphegor of Sloth, right here. To think that I would be needed again. Belpha! I'm hungry! I mean, I'm so glad to see you again. To think that the 7 sisters would be able to meet again. Ange, thank you so much. Keep it up and do Satan next. And Levia and Lucy. Yeah, I get it. So please, try not to be so loud. Doing 4 people at the same time is pretty tough. Ange, don't overdo it any more than this. You did a good job summoning even 4 of them after such a long time. Stop it, Mammon. Right now, Ange is being pressured with the burden of summoning us. Ange, I beg that you do not strain yourself too much. No way! Ange promised. She said we'd all play together again. No, Right? Angie? You said everyone would meet again. You promised that we could meet again right away. That's right, I promised. I didn't promise anything about when, but I certainly did promise. So keep that promise. If you don't, I'll never forgive you for forgetting it until today, Angie. Come, arise. One of the 7 stakes of purgatory. Satan of wrath. My mind's getting hazy, but I'll call. Even though I'd forgotten about those days, even though I've never thought of that time as anything but sad and lonely, because the short time I spent with them was fun, without a doubt. And then there's Satan. Satan of wrath, right here. What the hell are you people doing? Don't you realize how much it's burdening Angie just to let us have an idle chat? Satan, who had apparently figured out the situation immediately after being summoned, cried out in a loud voice, telling her sisters off. That loud voice made my consciousness hazy again. We are furniture who has been granted rest by Beatrice and whose duty has been finished. Not only are you not honored at being given another chance to be of some use, but you're putting a burden on our new master. You disgrace to all furniture! Erase yourselves right away! Yes, that's like Satan says. I'll erase myself. You all erase yourselves too. In this moment, that's the best way for us to be of use to Angie. No way! Not until everyone's summoned. Same here. I'm hungry. I mean, I'd hate to leave again so soon after being reunited with you all. Don't be so selfish. Come on, erase yourself quickly. Come on, Asmo. Disappear right now. What? Satan's bullying me. It's not fair if you always bully the youngest one. Yes, they really are lively. It doesn't bore me. That's enough. You've surpassed your limits for now, Angie. You're right. With 5 of them summoned and messing around as they pleased, the load was far too heavy for me with the meager magical power I had at that moment. This is it. Huh. As my consciousness went hazy, I fell over onto the bed. Have beds always felt this soft? What? Did I accidentally scroll down too much? Yeah, okay, never mind. It seemed that the sisters were still squabbling together as much as they liked. For a way to kill time until drowsiness gets to me, this is enough. Feeling something warm and nostalgic in the sisters' liveliness, I sank into a world of deep sleep. At the entrance to my dream world, I felt Maria and Sakutara waiting to receive me. Hi. You worked hard, and good job. Uryu. Welcome back, Angie. Welcome back, huh? Then I should respond like this. I'm home. Very nice. That was an interesting episode. I mean, the first part was kind of boring with that Ootsuki guy. But, whatever. Seeing the stakes again was kind of cool. Even though Leviathan and Lucifer are still kind of dead. Whatever. That's gonna be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, be sure to press the like button, and if you didn't like it, fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I'll, see you all next time. Goodbye!